Afternoon. It is Thursday, November 16th. It is 3:30. I got date night tonight, but I got home, wanted to check out the corn, maybe pick up some kerosene on the way home. Figure a chance to check out the corn. Super nice day. It's in like 60s and low humidity. So we are drying the corn. So this is basically 48 hours of this getting dry. There's definitely, we put more in this time. There's the top of the first ring, so we're really above that. But let's see what we got here. Below 60. So the air coming out of here, I think, is colder than what's getting pushed through. And then our humidity thing here, who knows if that's accurate. But what I do want to know, is this wetter than what's over here? So again, I don't know how accurate these numbers are. But what I do know is that if the air is dry, it's down. If the air is humid, it's up. When I bought these two, I had them side by side for 2 days straight and kind of used this as a somewhat of a calibrator along with the weather app, and made sure that they were the same together. Now again, these numbers don't match this or the weather app, which I think was 40%. But what I do know is that this thing is in drier air than what's in the bin, which means that the corn is drying. When I checked it yesterday, it was in the bin, it was like 65%. So there was a lot more humid air coming out of the bin. Not so much coming out now, but there is more humid air coming out of the corn than what's dry. So that is awesome, because really taking advantage of these days. Tomorrow is going to be kind of rainy. The weekend is going to be cooler. Plus, I think I'm busy. A busy Sunday. I might, I have a previous engagement Saturday afternoon, but I might push that back a few hours. Because if this corn's dry, I want to get out of the bin, the wagons. That way we can do some more combining later. Need to remember to turn that back on when I leave, because I forgot to do that last night. Now you're probably thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Well, I am trying to add some supplemental heat into the grain bin to dry the corn just by warming the air. Now, grain dryers have big propane tanks with big propane fire, using anywhere from 3 million to 5 million to 10 million BTUs, really drying the grain fast, like almost anywhere from 300 to 1,000 bushel an hour. We don't have a grain dryer yet. I want to get one next year. But to dry the corn, you need warm air with low humidity. What you can do is you can add some heat to the air, which not only raises the air temperature a little bit, but it also lowers the relative humidity. You raise the temperature 10 degrees Fahrenheit, you lower the relative humidity by 22%. So if you're drying corn and it's 80% humidity, if you can raise it up 10 degrees here, you just dropped it down to below 60% humidity, and it's well within the moisture chart of around 15 to 14% moisture for the corn. So I am doing everything I can to get corn dried quickly out of the bin so that we can continue the combine, wet corn, get it off the field, and safely in the bin and in the wagon. Okay, I'm in the bin. I'm just gonna take the first layer here, test it. This should be the wettest corn in the bin. Pretty much center, because I made sure it's level, so the air is uniformly coming up. But yeah, this should be the wettest corn on top. $15.6. You see that? Yeah, that's at the top. So I'm walking to the sides, and it's usually drier on the sides. I think the air flows a little bit more on the ends. And as I'm walking, like I took a step, my foot almost went all the way down to the bottom. So I'm gonna take a sample right here. This has to be drier. It's actually wetter. It's weird. I dug in like maybe 6 inches or so and grabbed a sample. There we go. So we're probably like 3 feet deep of corn, and I probably dug in 6 to 8 inches and grabbed a handful, and it's already at 15.4. So I can only imagine that the corn lower is drier, which is awesome. Now, is this basically ready to go, or do I continue drying it? Well, there's nothing I can do about it today because I have important plans. So we will run the fan tonight and basically try and get that extra point dried off at the top layer here. And then when we do put it in the wagons, it'll all get mixed up and it should average, ow, that hurt, 15%. I'm on the other side, just right on the top inch, 16.1. So it is dry. Again, I brushed a bunch off and I dug my hand in like maybe a foot and brought in. Okay, still around 16%. Dude, it was 21% when I put it in here 2 days ago. So using air and a little bit of kerosene heat brought it down 5 points. Awesome. Just having this out here for 5-10 minutes brought it down on the humidity thing. And the temp is below 60. There, all right. Turn the fan back on. Okay, so the corn is pretty much 16% or drier. It's probably really dry towards the floor, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not doing anything with the corn today, so we're gonna have the fan on. It's still above 60 degrees, 35% humidity. Let's get it down even drier. And we're gonna see what tomorrow looks like. They want it to rain tomorrow, right? But is it? Will it? How much? I don't know. If it's not raining too much or whatever, I'm going to try and unload this corn tomorrow. And if I can empty this bin tomorrow, Then early Saturday afternoon, because they're not calling for rain, it's just going to be colder. Let's get another batch in the bin so we can mess with this batch this following weekend and next week into Thanksgiving. Yeah, and I would be super happy with that. Because I think if I can get another batch in this bin, we might be half done with corn. Or maybe just over half done. Because again, the go-kart field is not going to yield very well. And the remaining stuff that did not get the V5 application will probably not yield as good as what I'm doing right now. So 3,000 bushel might be what I'm thinking. So I'm hoping for 34 because that's what we got last year when we did 30 acres on this side of the road. We're doing 23 acres. So if we get the same amount of yield with least amount of acreages, that's a significant increase in our yield. And I'm really excited for next year. As long as the weather cooperates. Yeah. So there's a little video tour of me checking the corn and how I'm drying it and how I'm making sure that it's dry enough. That moisture tester seems to be spot on with the big fancy testers that the elevators use when the corn is around 60 degrees, and that's what it is. So that 16% or the 15.4 that you saw, that is pretty much what their machine is going to read as well. So we are really close, especially with the corn close to the top. Halfway down to the floor, I'm sure it's drier. I'm sure it's 14%. So we're going to keep drying, leave the fan on rest of the evening, all through tonight. I'm going to have the heater on and set so that when the temperature goes below 50, it'll turn on. And I'm sure the humidity might be higher because rain is coming. A system is coming, if you will. So it's going to continue to dry whatever's in there. And I have to remember, because I have the cap, the top of the grain bin, the cap is off. And I got to make sure when I come home tonight to close that. That way when it rains, it doesn't rain on the corn. All right, that's it.